like to thank Local 359, the firefighters here, for inviting us out tonight to talk about our ambitions and our goals for the city of Gary. First things first, I've been a resident of this city for my entire life. I got my education, graduated high school at Horseman High School. I got my bachelor's degree at Calumet College of St. Joseph in organization management, and I earned my master's degree at Indiana University, my MBA. Myself, I'm interested in public service because I've been in our community. I've been in our community and serving in the financial industry. Most of you all probably know my face from inside of a Chase Bank or inside of a Fifth Third Bank. Now I work for US Bank in the small business area. So I know what it is to engage the community in community development, to go out and help mentor our young folks with financial literacy and community outreach. There are a couple of things I'm going to touch on. There were some very good questions that Local 359 put out there in its questionnaire that talked about good government. Good government is participatory. It's consensus-oriented. It's transparent. It's responsive. It's effective. It's efficient. It's equitable and inclusive. It follows the rules of law. That's what good government means to me. And that's what I intend to bring to the table for the 3rd District. There are just a couple of things that I want to touch on really quickly because I know time is of the essence. Economic development. I look to engage small businesses to come back to the 3rd District. We have watched banks leave our district. We have watched all of the community service, basic community services leave our district. And I'm interested in re-engaging those businesses and bringing them back. Public safety, as it comes to our first responders, our firefighters. We want to work together, fight the blight that's in our city, in our district. We also want to make sure that those areas that are abandoned aren't used as havens for vandalism and unnecessary arson and things like that. So if we can actually get rid of those parcels, that will take some of the stress and load off of our fire departments. Education and employment. I've worked with Indiana University to bring an entrepreneurship center in that's going to be open to the public so that small businesses can actually engage and learn and network and use it as a co-working space. That's something that Indiana University is going to be developing very, very soon. Because of the pandemic, they're going to be eliminating some of the classrooms that are not going to be used and actually open up an economic development center for the city in conjunction with the ISBDC. And last and not least, I want to talk about affordable housing. We want to bring a program to our district that will allow our firefighters, our first responders to move in. And they'll be able to move in with programs that Senator Melton talked about, utilizing CRA credits, using creative financing. Those are the things that I bring to the table. So I don't want to hold up any more of our time. If we have any questions, as I said, I've been in banking for 20 plus years. So you have a banker at your disposal to ask any questions you may like about community development. And again, I hope I earn your vote. I hope I earn your trust. And I know you guys are going to be seeing me soon.
All right.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jonathan Booth.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Booth. Just to give you a little bio about myself. I'm a graduate of Gary Roosevelt and Indiana University Northwest. And I'm serving the Gary Public Library Board. I'm also a precinct committee person in the 3rd District, also Democratic captain of the 3rd, and also serve on the Gary School Board 3rd District. In answer to your question, in terms of deteriorating infrastructure, I think the overall plan needs to, you have to assess all those structures, and the ones next to schools or may cause some sort of public safety issue, then those would be on the priority in terms of the list. But also, if it's private property, there's a legal process. And I believe the city was in the process of putting liens on those homes, so they can be torn down. In addition to that, I'm a community person. I've been sparse as the primary organizer of the city's Juneteenth and Kwanzaa celebrations. In fact, we did a baseball tournament for many years, and Kevin Bradley, actually on the fire department, he's a large part of helping us put that on. And different cowboy, I call him cowboy, Brother Walls, he was bring his horses out. So we're very proud of that. We were able to do that for many years, free to the public. Now, in regards to public safety, I will support or appropriate money so you can get all the equipment and the training that you need. And in regard to raises, I understand you guys got raised last year, starting at $57,000 a year, but we have to work on our tax base. And currently, I work in the Lake County Treasury Department, and of course, what we do, we collect the taxes from homeowners to pay salaries. And quite frankly, Gary has a declining population, so we have to find out creative ways to add to our tax base. And I heard someone say maybe give some of the public safety workers incentives to move to Gary to share the tax base. So we have to think of creative ways in order to raise revenue. I've seen some areas where they actually put advertisement on public safety vehicles to sort of to raise revenue. And I think that any off-budget money should be spent on public safety and infrastructure. Any questions from the fire?
Yes, sir.
Oh, questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Booth.
Next, Dr. Booth, Third District Council.
Thank you for your time. All right, we're moving on to the 4th District. Can we have Councilwoman Ty Atkins?
I'm a little sick myself, so I didn't want to be holding the mic up here and then the next person be compromised. So thank you so much. Good afternoon. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Councilwoman Ty Atkins. I am the current 4th District Councilwoman, also Vice President of the Gary Common Council and current Chair of the Public Safety Committee. So I bring you greetings to my public safety personnel. I too want to congratulate all the members of 359 and also want to give kudos to President Tillman, Vice President Benford, as well as Secretary Jackson for the great job that you all have done in coordinating these efforts. We appreciate you. As an incumbent, I have had the pleasure over the last 3 years to actually do something. And so when I was preparing for this particular event, I took some time to think about 4 years ago when this event was taking place in March of 2019, what did I say I was going to do? And I think that that's what you all should be asking incumbent candidates when they come up here. What did you say on the survey that you were going to do for us or in support of us? And so I like to break it down. I always say these are Atkins facts or Atkins stats, okay? It's the athlete in me, Gary Westside athlete to be exact. Oh, before I start, I do want to give a special shout out to my 4th District station, Station 2, 1, and 12. I appreciate you. I know we are one band, one sound, one band, but being nested in our community in the 4th District, having 3 facilities, it means a lot, especially with the resource constraints that we have across the 54 square mile radius of this city. What I said I was going to do, I said I was going to establish a partnership with the Gary Fire Union Association. I said that I was going to work with these auxiliary groups, such as the One Love Fire Association, the Black Firefighters Association here in the city of Gary. She did that. She did that. Some things that we have partnered on was the support of Goodson Park. The One Love Fire Association took that and ran with it. It was an honor for me to support an ordinance in conjunction with our former Councilman at large, Councilman Clorius Lake, who currently sits at Lake County Council. And we were able to get $50,000 to support the establishment of security for that particular park. In addition to that, the members of 359 have supported me for 3 years now. I've been trying to work with the administration to get the Ironwood Park project up and running. You can follow me on social media to see the status of that. We have done substantial progress, and it was through 359 who has adopted that park and worked as community partners with me as the council representative to get that moving, so I appreciate you for that. In addition to that, I said that I wanted to obtain a clear understanding of the current working conditions and morale and trying to use the power that I have. It is true that we do not have a lot of the power that constituents think that we have from a legislative side. But I wanted to understand what those was and make sure that I can do what I can to move the needle forward. What I did was I manifested in that survey in 2019 that I was going to be a member of the Finance Committee. Thank you, Councilwoman Brown, for accepting me as a part of your committee. I did that. I said that I was going to utilize my financial background, my business acumen, my analytical skill set to facilitate a deep dive into the numbers. Everyone has talked about the financial constraints on this city. I had that skill set to help us understand what's a resolve. I said that I was going to listen to the concerns, the needs. I was going to listen to the problems, listen to the issues related to the morale, and I did that. I have held people accountable as it relates to those needs related to the Gary Fire Department. Some of those have been in the paper. So you can check those receipts, to the senator's point. And despite the administration, in that article that was mentioned earlier, it was in the Post Tribune on actually October the 26th, 2001, saying that the pay increase will negatively affect the areas of government for the city of Gary. In 2022, I think we went on operationally without a hitch.
That's right. No
issues. It was my work that led the council to supporting a 12% increase in pay for our public safety personnel. That was the first increase. Thank you. The first increase that these men and women who serve the beautiful city of Gary had had since 2015. I did that. I want to thank my colleagues of the Gary Common Council for trusting my business acumen and always being receptive to the amendments that I have proposed to you. We accepted that unanimously as a body of 9. My leadership has spoken for itself. I have been active. I have engaged. I have been instrumental in supporting the wins for the fire department that we benefit from today. I have proven my commitment to ensure power within my means, let me be clear, to keep public safety a priority for the city of Gary. This city needs results. If a leader has stood up here who is currently in the position, you ask them, what are your results? What are your stats? What have you done? I have proven that I'm up to the task, and I will continue to play on your behalf. As I forge forward with the 4th District, I will continue to deliver and lead with a focus to support the needs of Gary Fire Department. I appreciate this opportunity to speak in front of you. I take this role serious. I lead with sincerity and with genuine support from my heart. I ask that you guys walk with me for 4 more years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next candidate is Ebony Miller.
All right, Jack.
She left? Oh, all right. Okay. On to the 5th District. We have Councilwoman Linda Barnes Caldwell.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Public safety, thank you for all you do. That's the fire department and the police. Thank you. I've been the council person since 2015, representing the 5th District. I'm pleased, humbled, and I love my job. I love that I have the capacity to help the citizens, not only in the 5th District, but throughout the city. You never turn a call down when someone calls you. You just go ahead and do what you can do. The Gary Common Council, it's 9 of us. We don't always agree on a vote. We do work well with each other. But when it's time to vote, we're doing what's best for the citizens that we're representing. So, because you may see us.
Can you hold the mic up, please?
You don't hear me? Oh. Because you don't see us all the time agreeing doesn't mean we don't get along. We break bread together. We smile, laugh, talk, but we do what's best for the citizens of Gary. I'm dedicated to the 5th District. You know, sometimes you get telephone calls that you're like, it just really doesn't make sense. But because that person called you and they needed you, you do it, because you have to have a heart to serve the citizens, period. If you don't have that heart, everything is in vain. So I would love the opportunity to be endorsed by the fire department, local 359, and serve the residents 4 more years and continue to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, we're gonna move to the 6th district, and I have Councilman Dwight Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to give reverence to God. Thank Him for this day, for this morning, for this evening that we're about to experience. I see a lot of elected officials here. I see the past 6th District Councilwoman. Thank you for coming. As the 6th District Councilman, I have worked my way to trying to keep my promise. I'm sorry. I ran not on the promise, but on the slogan of progress. So trying to keep progress moving forward within my district. It was pretty tough. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you it wasn't. At several points, I became ill. President Godwin and the council decided to go to a Zoom meetings. And President Godwin, thank you for that, because several of those meetings, I was actually sick. But I was able to attend. I got out into my community. We had a major problem with dumping. We had a major problem with not having inclusiveness amongst each other in the district. We had a major problem with accountability since our past councilwoman left and our past councilman before her. We had a problem with being transparent. And so, as my goal, and those are just 3 things as far as having a good government. It's really 8, but I'll lean on those 3. That is my promise to 6th District. I will continue to move forward with you. And second, I'm gonna take a break from what I'm speaking on. Guys, fire department, you guys do a great job. You do a great job. You put your lives at risk throughout the COVID periods, especially Station 5. I especially want to thank you. You helped me during COVID with activities that we had put together for family enrichment. And you still came out during the COVID session and helped me to help the residents to understand that we do need to come together and stay together and move forward with one another. Station 1, thank you as well. Station 5, thank you for helping me cut the grass at Pittman Square and keep it cut, because we had problems with our general services, keeping the areas, the Parks Department, keeping that straight. So thank you very much for helping me with that. You guys are a blessing to me, and I hope that you'll continue to be a blessing to me. So when I think about the 6th District, I think about residents that are looking for better. Residents that are looking to improve their neighborhoods. Residents that are looking for strong public safety. We have a lot of issues, not just in the 6th District, but throughout the city. Public safety is huge, very huge. There's nights when I have set up and heard rapid gunfire. There's nights when I've heard the engines and the lights from the fire department. We recently took down Blue Wallace High School. Wallace High School is a gem in our district. Even though it's not there right now, it's still a gem. The history will never leave us. But as the fire department can probably understand, and I know they're probably tired of it, they had about, eight, just in my first year, about 8, 9 calls of fires in the building. It became a public safety hazard. We got the opportunity to take it down, so we took it down. We cannot continue to just have rapid fires, bodies being found in our school systems because the buildings are not being used. So I want to continue to be your councilman, and I thank you guys for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Next candidate, John Collier.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Collier, and I'm running for 6th District Councilman. I was born with cerebral palsy right here in Gary. First of all, let me thank the safety workers of Gary, Indiana. When I was 4 years old, our house caught on fire. Everyone made it out except for me. And I was in my bedroom at the age of 4. And I heard the window glass broke. And being 4 years old, I thought the boogeyman was coming to get me. But it was a firefight. Listen, when someone saves your life, you feel indebted to them. Yeah, I'm a happy married man, I'm a pastor, and I'm a proud father and grandfather. Now let me tell you what I promised. Then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to attempt to do. I promise to be a voice for our safety commission. Because no one can tell them how to run their house but them. I know you know what I'm talking about. The incident of a guy that pulled a gun out and the fire department fired him, but the police, I think it was the city, had him rehired. You all know what it takes to run a police department and the fire department. The conscious job is to make sure that you have everything you need to make it worth risking your life. Now, in the 6th district, here's what I hope to do. I want to work with IUN because we need dormitories. If we bring in dormitories, then people will come from all over the country. Some of them will want to live in Gary. Come on. Some of them will want to build businesses in Gary. Now, I hear a lot of talk about money. One of the solutions to pay our workers what they deserve is getting some of these businesses to pay their taxes. And Another thing I want to do is I want to build Gleason Park and give a stadium up. You know, we need aquariums, we need entertainment facilities, and we need a liaison that will go out there, bring the businesses, let the business pay their taxes so we can take care of our city. Now, I'm running as an underdog because I'm a black Republican. Come on. If not, I'm off for a pass. So if I say amen, forgive me. But the one thing that I'm finding out is that we need to grow up. Stop looking at parties and look at the agenda. Because just like you fighting, I feel like I'm not heard. But if I'm representing you, I guarantee you, I will be your voice.
All right.
The next candidate we have is Mr. Robert Buggs.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the fireman local 359. If you notice, even God said there won't be water, be fire next time. That's how serious fire is. You know, so we need to give them a great hand because, and I was a police officer for about 5 years. Sometimes before you engage, you have to wait for backup. They don't. They go. I remember I went to Las Vegas some years ago. They had a Black Firemen's Convention, and everybody from all over the United States was seeking out the Gary Fire Department. Now, after having said that, my name is Robert L. Buggs, Sr. from Madison, Mississippi. I've been in Gary since 1965. The last time I ran for city council, I ran at large. And I said, if you want a bobblehead on the city council, don't vote for me. And they didn't. So this time I'm not going to say that. But one thing I do want to say is, seriously, a lot of people complain about Robert Buggs. They say that I'm too passionate. But we're not going to have economic development for anyone coming to the city to invest without a quality school and education for their children. Right now, when I was in the Air Force and then later on as an Army medic, one of my jobs was to triage. Sometimes it's sad to make a decision when you're going to let somebody die, but it's necessary. The Gary Community School System is on almost about the flat line. And they're going to have somebody that doesn't have any experience from outside. They're trying to introduce a law to come in and make decisions for your children and my children. That is wrong. They're also taking away your right to choose. That is wrong. So the 6th district, I'm running for the 6th district council person seat. The 6th district, for many, many years I've lived there, the city administrations of the past seem to have forgot about it was a part of the city. I've been trying to get some buildings boarded up for over 3 years. The Lachique Lounge right on 40th in Georgia. There's a burnout house on 39th in Kentucky. There are children standing right across the street from there waiting in the dark to catch the bus. How much time does it take to board up a building to tear it down? Somebody owns it. So I have no excuse when somebody says that I'm passionate, because if your house is burning down, no pun intended, I'm not going to come up and whisper to your ear. Your house is on fire. Let's do something about it. Get out. So I don't spend a lot of time talking about what somebody didn't do. I will tell you what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you that because I see what needs to be done. Any legislation that passed in the city council or anywhere, should be for the quality of life for its citizens, period. Period. I don't compromise when it comes to somebody in need. Now, I consider myself as not a politician. I'm a people-tician, because government is for the people and by the people. So that's the way I see it as government. Now, if I'm elected as your city councilman, then you will see changes. As a matter of fact, I've already been making changes when I was elected precinct committee person here recently and before. A lot of people don't really know me. I've been volunteering in school since 1975. When I say I mentor children, I don't go and read to them. I go and take them to the movies. I take them to church. I feed them. I clothe them. These are the things that I do. I worked for Constance for 4 years. Right now, I'm a mentor for the mental health court and the Kimbrough work release program. So these things, all my life has been around helping people. If you see a need, you don't need anybody to tell you or point it out. You take action then. So that's why I'm going to be on the 6th District Council person, because I already seen the need. I know what needs to be done to eliminate it.
All right, we'll be moving on to the at-large. Next up, I will ask for Councilman William Godwin.
Thank you so much. I know everybody is tired and ready to go home. We've been so inspired. And I want to thank the leadership of 359. We have been working in the trenches for 3 years at this point. And I am William Godwin, president of the Gary Common Council, and I am running for councilman at large. I have enjoyed being the 1st District council person, but in the role of president and in working with my colleagues across the city, I have seen the opportunity to bring good government across the whole city. To look not just at a particular district and its neighborhoods and those challenges, but to look at the city overall. There's been a lot of talk about the agreement, the 2003 agreement, which I have right here. And yes, it has been 20 years since there has been a contract with our 359 union. But what we have endeavored to do with the power that we have, because a lot of people stand up here and make a lot of promises that they have absolutely no power to actually do. But what we have tried to do and have done successfully is to fill in those gaps where the law allows us to do that. The best way to know what someone is going to do in the future is to evaluate what they have already done. You know, people came up here earlier and they tried to tout a 12% raise and tout a 3% raise and take credit for something they criticized in the media and called Atkins and myself and others obstructionists. And we didn't know what we were doing, but now they want to put that as a bullet point on their re-election flyer. But you better watch how people voted when you needed them. When you needed a raise in 2020, we worked to get a 3% raise passed. I didn't have the 6 votes I needed to override the veto that the mayor did on that 3% raise in 2020. But when we came back in 2021, we had the votes on the council to pass the 12% raise that people all of a sudden want to take credit for. Remember those who remembered you. And then last year we did another 3% raise. We've been filling in the gaps of the absence of an agreement since 2003. Furthermore, you lost your uniform allowance in 2010, I believe. It went from $1,500 to $500. Now, Ways and Means Chair and Finance Chair, I believe we raised that last year to $1,000. So we're making progress with the resources that we have. A lot of people want to say all y'all doing is talking. No, we're working. We are doing the work of this city. We have dealt with, I call it the R's. We've dealt with the referendum. We've dealt with the Rona. We've dealt with redistricting, which I know you've been reading about in the paper. And they want to crucify me and Atkins, but guess what? The best is yet to come, and you can't use government for politics when you don't know what you're talking about. And so we're going to continue to move forward. And you will see an aggressive campaign that will touch every corner of this city. And one of the beautiful things that I have to offer you is that I am not a rubber stamp. There's not a contract I want from this city. There's not a job I'm looking for myself, my friend, my cousin, my neighbor. I'm a licensed attorney. I'm a licensed real estate broker in 3 states. I own my own business. I am unbought and unbossed. I'm prepared to serve you. Thank you very much.
I definitely said we weren't nervous. All right. Next for at large, can we have Councilman Ron Brewer? How you doing?
Good evening, everyone. I am Councilman Ron Brewer, your councilman at large, and I just want to clear the record. I'm not running to be the councilman at large. I am your councilman at large. We talk about the fire department. I've been a supporter of the fire department since day one, 2010, running the election. I had my first encounter with the fire department when I was out campaigning, and I saw a gentleman that had pulled over in his car, and I stopped to assist him, and he was unresponsive. I didn't have a chance to deal with our fire department at the time because we had private companies coming in to assist us. But I was happy to see when Gary came on the scene and took charge, because things wasn't going right with that private company that was out there. As I got on the council, we had more involvement with the private company coming in, and this is Prompt that was in at that time. And we continue to have problems with the fire department. And I was happy when we eventually got them out of our city, out of our fire station, and we took on our own responsibility. Each year that I have been on the council, each term, this is seeking my 4th term, I have made sure that the Gary Fire Department received a raise each term. I believe when I first came in, you all was making between the sum of $38,000, $39,000 starting. We're now at $57,000 and growing. It is my duty to make sure that we continue on that trend. And if I'm reelected or when I'm reelected, I want to make sure that we get another raise inside our next term. We talk about giving raises and things of that nature. It's one thing to give it, but we have to make sure we can sustain it. We all realize what happened during the time of the Rudy Clay administration where we had to put men and women on furlough days. We want to make sure we don't go backwards, that we continue to go forward. My campaign slogan is just that, pushing Gary forward, not going backwards. Before I came on the council, I saw tankers out there was leaking more water out of the truck than that was going on a fire there. I saw inadequate fire ambulance inside our city, breaking down on a regular. We're not there no more. There's still a lot more to do, but we have made a significant investment in the Gary Fire Department with new ladder trucks, pumper trucks. We continue to make that investment. Ambulance inside our city. I hope we have done right by you all. I know there's a lot that still needs to be done, and I'm dedicated to it. I hope I have proven that to you all, how I have shown myself in the past. I continue not to do anything less than just that. Come visit you all inside the station, which I have done on a regular. See you on the scene, stop, see how I can assist. I get a chance to actually see, and I know I owe you all, especially the EMT, ride along or to stay with you all on to see how you all really function. I did it with the police department already, but I owe you all. I plan on giving you all 24 hours. I want to see what it's really like. But I got a chance when we had one night all these fires that broke out inside our city, and we had every bit of manpower out there we had. We got some responses came in, and some didn't respond to us. But we needed everyone. But as I stood with some firemen on the side and we watched 2 and 3 houses just burn. And the good thing was they was vacant houses. But I saw firemen come from home without getting a call to come and say, we need help. They knew it was a problem inside the city. And that shows dedication. When I see men and women dedicated to our city like that, I can't do anything else but have your back. And I just want to say I appreciate you, and I shall continue to fight for you. Thank you all.
Next up, we'll have Councilman Darren Washington.
to the leadership of this fine organization, Fire Local 359, I want to give you a story. Last January, and many of you all can understand that often we get a voicemail from American Water that tells us that we're either going to cut your water off or we're going to slow down the pressure due to some things that they're doing. Well, unfortunately, I have a home in the Horace Mann area, and I use radiated heat. And when me and the wife went in on a Friday night before we were leaving to go out of town, radiators in my home busted. And there was water everywhere. I have hardwood floors. They seeped through the hardwood and went into the basement. And I called the Gary Fire Department. So within 7 minutes, a fire truck was in front of my house, helping to shut off the water. And I want to pay you back as councilman at large with a few things. I'm not here today to talk about my educational experience. This local is a special interest group. And the special interest group is that of the firefighters. So the first thing that I want to tell you today, that I support a labor agreement between Gary Fire Local 359 and the city of Gary. I support the union and the city continuing the process of going through all 41 articles of your agreement, sitting down and being able to talk about what needs to happen. And one thing that, firemen, I want you to know, regardless of what happens in the election, all of us that are on the council currently will be here until the end of 2023. And one thing that we know about ARPA money, it ends in 2024. So regardless of what happens in the election, my commitment this year is to work with you and your union on a few things. And this comes from me talking to some of your members and past members who have retired. And one thing that I will support after we discuss it with our current members, we may need to support an arbitration ordinance to encourage dialogue between the city and between Local 359. The next thing, the American Rescue Plan Act of 221 allows for premium pay for essential workers. While we are sitting and we're trying to come to an agreement on a union agreement, that takes time. But I believe that the city administration can show some good faith in a few areas while we work on that situation. So the first thing, my background, I'm currently an active member of UAW 6000. I am an active union member, and we're brothers of UAW supports members. The next thing, when I was president of the school board, I sat in for 8 years, union negotiations between the school board, the board, the administration, and SEIU, and the Gary Teachers Union. So I know about union negotiation. And see, all of us on the city council, we all individually have expertise that we come together and work together as a council to make this city better. So in saying that, I have an idea for the ARPA money since it ends in 2024. We need to have discussions because it was stated, well, no one stated, but we know that there is a premium pay that is owed to you. $5,000 has already been paid. $10,000 extra is paid, needs to be paid. Under the clause of, when we look at the American Rescue Act for essential workers, I believe that you are essential workers. So there needs to be some conversation about when the rest of that $10,000 is going to be paid, or come to an agreement because that premium pay was owed to you and it was promised to you. I support having that conversation and trying to get some things done to put some pressure on our administration to be able to help you with premium pay. The next thing, yes, we know that you have not had clothing allowance for over 8 years. And we know the history of one administration that told you that if you would give up your allowance, that no workers would be laid off, and you are upset because that promise was broken. See, we need to know the history of this organization and the things that they've gone through when we talk about solutions, because there's some pain and some resentment, but you keep moving forward. You keep marching forward. And not only did the council before I got there was able to restore that, I think with ARPA money that I'm looking at to be able to provide a one-time retroactive clothing allowance for every member. So you was 8 years without boots, $200, clothing, an astronomical amount. And I think the 8 years that you were without clothing, it should be something done retroactively, and money is available to help make good on that. And this is a few things that while we're looking at the contract that the administration and the council can look at and have discussions on to show that we want to have good faith with you while the union contract is being negotiated. The next thing, and we've seen this, we need new fire stations. When I see that our council gives $10 million for a Girls and Boys Club project, $600,000 to a mental health mobile unit, and set aside $2 million to help our businesses. We need, and I know, and I've done the research, Lake Station, East Chicago, Wayne Township, Indianapolis, all built new fire stations for less than $2 million. And the first new station needs to be station number 1, which is downtown Gary, Indiana. So the next thing that we need to do, and the reason, ladies and gentlemen, the firemen need new stations is because of this. They work there. They eat there. They sleep there. And don't you know the carbon monoxide that is inside those old buildings while these brothers and sisters are sitting there breathing that? We need new stations. And if we can build stations, if we can look at building a new health department, we can also build at least 2 or 3 fire stations to keep you safe. The next thing and last, and I will close. And one of the candidates said this. There were 280 firefighters in 1998. There's about 134 today. There are 4, it used to be 4, now there are 3 firemen on a rig. 7 to 10 potentially firefighters may retire. What is the incentive to bring new firefighters in this community? Those are some questions that we as a council, as an administration before and after this election, we can deal with. Forget the politics, forget all of that. It's about the men and women who are out there saving lives. I'll put that on my questionnaire. I will answer any questions, and I stand by my support for Local 359. God bless you.
Before you go,
Yep.
because you touched on incentive pay. We didn't bring it up any today. That is a point of contention for a lot of the members in our membership. We got plenty of calls on that. I just want to ask the question, have you questioned the administration about that thus far? And what was your response if you did?
No, and I'll be honest, I haven't questioned them on that because there was a lot of things. Because like I know that there was a lawsuit that you all won and you were forced to settle for less than you actually should have gotten. And so far as administration is concerned, and what I believe that all 9 council members here will tell you today, regardless of where any of us may be in this election, the special interest group is the firefighters of 359. And I believe all 9 of us can come to an agreement to work with you on that incentive pay. Regardless of who supports who, your organization, your firefighters are first. So I believe we can come to an agreement and have a discussion. But what I want to ask the firefighters, I know there are some councilmen that you talk to. My question and my hope is that extend that communication with every council person, because we all love the work that you do. So don't ever think because of who anybody supports. I support union, I support you, And don't ever think because we may have differences or disagreements with other people that you work with, that none of us are willing, all of us are willing to sit down and have conversations to get you a contract and get you everything that you need.
Thank you for all your answers. My membership here is going to make me get with you about that. Okay. Next up for at large, can I get Mr. Ivan Urser?
Good evening. My name is Ivan Dana Ursery II, not to be confused with Ivan Dana Ursery Sr. or Ivan Dana Ursery III, which is my son. I'm a native of Gary, born in Gary, but we moved when I was 8 and moved to Maryville. When I graduated high school, I went off to the Navy, and in the Navy is where I gave my life to the Lord. And I stayed out there another 3 or 4 years and graduated from art school with a degree in graphic design. So I moved back here. in 2010, I believe, in 2010. So I've been back here 13 years. So a total of 20 years in Gary. And I wanted to tell 3 little quick stories on why I want to run for councilman at large. One story is, actually it might be 4, but it's going to be quick. The first story is when I was about 2 or 3, I remember this vividly. On 9th and Ellsworth, my grandmother was babysitting us, and the house caught on fire. It's gone now, but the house caught on fire. I was in there, and I was in my tidy whities. Some of you guys know what tidy whities are, whatever, but I was in my tidy whities, and I remember running out the house. I remember the firemen coming, making sure we're all okay, and just the amount of love they showed us and the amount of care and concern they showed us made a big impression on my life. And even to this day, I still never wear tidy whities. That's, a little personal information. But because of that, I think that was traumatic for me. Second story is, when I moved back, our house, I live on 34th in Connecticut. And I woke up because I smelled this strong smell like smoke. I'm like, what's the smoke coming from? And so I take my son, Miles, who is now 4. At the time, I think he was 2. I think it was like 2 years ago. I took him outside to look, and the fire was blazing. And I mean, talk about blazing, like, oh man, I'm waking everybody like, we got to get up out of here, because it was so close that the house next to us is also an abandoned house. So it's like, it's only a matter of time till it catches. They were there within like 5 minutes, Johnny on the spot. And I think it might have even been Larry. I don't know, remember that night. I know it might have been Larry, but I'm not for sure. But anyway, so I was just out there, and I was showing my son and telling my son, like, these are firefighters. These who are taking care of our city, making sure our city, stays up and not burnt to the ground. And the admiration and respect and just the look in my son's eyes to see the firefighters and everything. I live right by Franklin Elementary, the former Franklin Elementary. That's where I went to elementary school for a brief time. And I laughed with Larry because I talked about that's when I got my first fight. He was there, he had my back in my first fight, even though I initiated the fight. And I've always been a fighter. Always, my whole life been a fighter. And that's to my detriment sometimes. But as when I would go around that area, it's a fire station right there by Franklin, right there. And I took my son over there, and we go look at it and stuff. I said, what if that fire station was operable when that fire happened? They would be there in half a second, or the time would be cut way down because of the fire station right there. So my goal, I always look at that fire station, I look at Franklin Elementary, I look at that big open field, and I love fun. My campaign slogan will be make Gary fun again, because I'm a guy with fun, I love bike ride, I like to have fun. So I watch the Fireman Olympics a lot, and every year they have them in San Diego, they have them in different various places. What if we could bring the Fireman Olympics to Gary right in that field and reopen that fire station? That would be something I think would be fun for the city, a lot of national publicity, but it would help restore the image of Gary, and it'd be something fun that everybody get involved with. So when I grew up, I used to go to Marquette Park every summer to the concerts and all the fun things we had in the city. And my heart is I want to restore that to the city. I want to restore the fun we had. And in having fun, we do have to have public safety, and we have to have all those things that go along with having fun. So my heart and my platform is I'm new with all the paperwork and everything that goes into running a government, but I'm open to learn. But I want to be part of making this fun, making the city fun, making the city enjoyable. It's already enjoyable. I moved back because I remember coming from California. They're like, you moving back to Gary? You moving back to Indiana? And I said, yeah. I said, even though you guys have the beaches and the beautiful scenery, we got the people. The people are lovely. We got the nicest people that you ever want to be around. We got community. So therefore, that's my platform. That's why I'm running for a councilman at large. And I'm also running as a Republican. So hey, I feel you struggle with that. But Frederick Douglass was Republican. Booker T. Washington was Republican. The first senator and congressman out of Reconstruction were Republicans. And that's a party founded based on ending slavery. But just a little history note. So thank you all for your time.
All right.
No question?
All right. Next candidate up is Tashawn Brown.
Thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. Oh, y'all sound a little dry. I know we've been here for a minute. Good evening, everyone. Okay, then that's a little better. I can pass with that. Okay, my name is Tashawn Brown. I'm running for council at large. This is my first time running for any political race. A little bit about myself. I was raised right here in Gary on 7th and Buchanan Street, 2nd District to be exact. My grandparents, they just relocated from that area actually. Can y'all still hear me? Yeah. Okay, so I was like, man, I kept on asking my friends, what I'm gonna say to this? What I'm gonna say at this event? What I'm gonna say, because it's my first time, right? Well, first off, I do want to say thank you all. Thank you to the firefighters and the local 359 for even extending the invitation. I am honored and ecstatic to be here tonight with you all, so thank you for that. So I just say, you know what? I'm just gonna speak from the heart, okay? I'm just gonna speak from my heart. Like I said, I grew up on Buchanan Street. I went to John H. Ward School where Mr. William Cook was the principal there. I also attended Tolleson Middle School. It is now in the Boys and Girls Club now, but during my time, it was a middle school. Unfortunately, my mom, she decided to relocate to Maryville. I guess the economy in Gary at the time was just too bad, so we relocated to Maryville. And in 2010 was the year that I became a leader and took on a mother role before I became a mother myself. My mother passed. I was the oldest of 6 children. The youngest at the time was 8. Now, fast forward now, all my brothers and sisters are grown. They all graduated. One is a graduate from IUB Bloomington, which she's also an AKA. The other one, she's a medical retired from the Army. So I could say I did pretty well, you know. Now fast forward to now, I currently work at the Calumet Township Assistant's Office. And during that time there, I started in 2011. During that time, I was able to achieve my level 2 certification. Also, just listen to the citizens of Gary, their complaints, they voice, even though we're there to talk about assessment now. But for some reason, we always get off track. And you know, I'm just tired of going outside my district to do things. I'm tired. I have 3 children myself now. I didn't raise my brothers and sisters. I got 3 of my own. I got my own tribe now. But I'm just tired of going outside of the district to do things. I'm tired to going outside the district just to go shop, take my kids to a park, go to the movie theater, go bowling. And sad to say, no offense to those that aren't here, even in schools, you know, I'm just tired of it. When I was growing up, you know, we had fun in Gary, like the previous guy said. In Marquette, that was the place to go for fun. We used to have the air show, the 4th of July celebration. They had concerts. People came into our town. Now we don't have any of that. There's nowhere for me to even take my children just to have a nice family outing, you know, just a nice family outing. So I'm passionate about my city. I love my city. I'm willing to work along with everyone. I don't have no special allies with this person, special ally with this person. I'm just allied with here, with you all, and with God, and that's it. And I'm gonna be dedicated to the job. I'm passionate. I'm gonna bring integrity. I'm gonna bring all my knowledge and expertise that I've learned to the council if elected. I love the city of Gary. It's home. It always will be home, and it still is home. And I just want to bridge the gaps and work together with everyone. And that's it.
Thank you for all your comments. Next up, we're going to have Mark Spencer.
How about one more? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. All right. Thank you. Thank you. What a lovely audience. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. First, I want to say to Mr. Tilden and Benford, members of 359, thank you for the opportunity to speak. It means a lot, sincerely. I want to say to you, as I was thinking before what to say, everyone said everything. But what I want to share with you is that I often think of, and you do the same, I often think of what a beautiful home looks like, what a beautiful community looks like. You fill in the blanks. You have your ideas. What is a Rolls Royce in the front, a picket fence, a beautiful school, 2.5 children, whatever that is. I have that vision as well in my own way. And with that vision, I always see it coupled and based in something very significant. And to me, that significance, sincerely, is police and fire. I've always said that, police and fire. No matter what that vision is, there's no preservation without police and fire. We're talking on the subject of fire today. And I'll say that I think that the firefighters and the efforts that they produce, I think of all of that as a sacred institution. It's nothing we take lightly. And I think that the foundation of any community that has the significance of the fire department behind it will thrive. Without it, no fire department, no city. There's just no negotiation. It's common sense, but we don't think about that often. I was reluctant to share something personal, and I am aware of my time. Around June of last year, I had a family member very dear to me was ill and was welcomed into my home. And they had an episode beyond my scope and capability. I live in the 1st District. I had never done it before. I did had the ultimatum of fixing the situation, of calling 911, and support was there within 5 minutes. And it was assuring. Again, police and fire. With however I decorate my home, whatever I do, without the support of that institution, we can't stand. So I thank you for that. My name is Mark Spencer. I was born and raised in the great city of Gary, Indiana. A first member of the first graduating class of Emerson School for the Visual Performing Arts. I am a first-generation college graduate, and I have the honor of working over the last 31 years with our most precious resource, our children, in the Gary Community School Corporation. As an administrator, I've had the duty, the honor, and the assignment of working in various capacities such as balancing budgets, managing committees, working with differences, and dealing with various figureheads in order to achieve a goal. I'm 53 years old, and I had to ask myself a poignant question: what am I doing next? My life is about service, and I'm not sure if I can be as agile as I've been in the last 31 years. So I looked at this opportunity to continue to serve, and I honestly feel that what I've honed, if you will, and achieved in that environment, I can easily transfer into this space as a city council person to serve. That's the desire, and that's why I'm here. People ask the question, why, Mark? Why at this stage of your life? Because I owe a debt to this community. I stand on the shoulders of many people that have paved ways for me, and I simply owe them. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So with that being said, I want you all to know that it would be an honor to serve as a council person. And with the 31 years of experience of administration and an admirer of the city, it would be an honor to do it in this capacity. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a blessed night. Thank you.
Next up, we have Sinclair Harvey.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sinclair Harley. I apologize the way I'm dressed. I just came from DT training, that's defensive tactics training. I had to go way to Valpo because our training facility is not up to par, as the man said earlier. So I had to go out to Valpo to do a training because I've just now received a new job called the SO, School Resource Officer. So I had to take some more defensive training. I'm retired from the Gary Police Department. I graduated from Westside High School, class of 91. I did 22 years on the Gary Police Department. They are sitting back there, nobody's acknowledged them. They've been talking about the fire department, but it's a joint effort there. To answer your question, as you have asked, everybody talking about everything else except the police and fire. This is what this is all about. Right now, your question, all we got to do is call the EPA and IDM for the state of Indiana to take care of that problem you asked, and they will come out and investigate everything you got with the dumping or whatever. To answer your question, the police and the firemen, when it comes to politics, everybody figure they know what we need, but don't ask us nothing. So I know what they need. I know what the fire department needs because I talked to some of them. And we need equipment. We got manpower. It's over 100 years of knowledge of police and fire in here because we've learned from the ones before us and the ones after us are going to learn from us. We need equipment. Then we need manpower. Guys are retiring because they're old. They done did their 20 and 30 years, and they leave. But the politicians come up here and tell us, we down with you, we this, we that. And then when we ask for something, they're not there. They're gone. So that's what the fire department and the police officers need. My name is Sinclair Harley. I will fight for whatever the people need, and the police and firemen. Vote for me, Councilman at large. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And I believe this is last but not least, Pastor Roosevelt Dixon.
I want to thank the police department and the fire department, Brother Tillman and Bilford, for putting this on. I am a lifelong resident of Gary, Indiana. Been here all my life. My life started at Methodist Hospital and it ended. My career is still going on and on. Westside graduate to all my orange and blue. God bless y'all. I heard the number 20 thrown out, and we're in the year 2023. I heard it's been 20 years. The number 20 means a cycle of completion. And it also means, as in labor, travailing in labor pains. 23 means progression, innovation, and change. We are in a shifting period. The city of Gary is about to shift. We cannot continue to be in neutral when you keep rearing on the gas and you're going to blow your engine out. We have to shift that thing and drive, not in reverse because we don't want to go back. Somebody shout shift. We want to shift that thing and to drive and go forward. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. We have to do and be about change. We have to do and be about change. All of my occupation, I've been a social worker, a therapist, a counselor, and now I am a pastor. 2 years ago, I've been made a bishop. And in all of those occupations, one thing I learned, even in being, let me help my fathers and my husbands, we have to learn how to listen. Right. Fire department, police department, selected me as a councilman, I am here to listen. I cannot effectively help you guys if I don't listen to you guys. I can't come bring in my opinion and don't know what your needs are. I am a listener, and I listen well. That's what helped me in 27 years of my marriage, up until my wife died 2 years ago, right before Christmas Eve. I listened, and I am here to listen. 20 years is too long. It is time for us to give birth to that new contract. And I am here to assist in whatever way I can by listening and then doing my part. Listening and getting educated on what it is that the needs of our public service workers are having. And then going forth and doing my part and voting and making sure that those ordinances and contracts go forth. Mark, I believe Matthew said, he who has an ear, let him hear. Then Philippians went and say, let us not be about our own interests, but let us be about the interests of others. All of my occupations, I have been a servant leader. I serve, I live to serve. It has not, don't do it as an occupation. I have become the server. I live it. Thank you all.
Thank you. This has been a difficult 3 years. I want to thank everybody for coming out and addressing us, and I hope that we can keep this same spirit throughout this next term. Regardless if you elected or not, we want to hear from you. We want to work with you. I'm Larry Tillman, the president of Gary Fire Local 359. Kevin Benford, vice president here. We have a great executive board. Could you all come up here?
Keyboard.
Tyrone Jackson, he retired in 2018. The Gary Fire Department. Nate Carter. 2012? Yeah, 2012. Okay, but we also have our state president here. He's recording right now, so I'm gonna leave him alone. But they spent over $15,000 trying to work with us in this current administration to do labor relations. They brought us down, had 4 members from our union, 4 members from the city come down, and they funded it. They paid for the whole thing to try to help us be able to get to the table and work together. We've tried. We tried everything in these 3 years. We're not getting ready to be shy about the support that we need from these elected officials.
And we haven't received.
Yeah, that we haven't received. And this is a role that I did not see myself in. I served in the department. I left in 2017 due to an injury. And we have multiple people being injured on the job for having to do 3 times the work that they're supposed to do. They're going in 3 to a rig. Not enough people on scene. And so they just want the common decency of being respected in what they do every day. And so that's what we're fighting for. This is a role that I didn't plan for, but we're here now. And we're going to continue on. Brothers from the FOP. How many Big Walk? I see Big Walk back here. We had the vice president and the president, Dale Stout, Vice President Simon Lilly, who were here. We're going to work with them. We're not bargaining separately anymore. We're going to speak to each other and assist each other in working with the city on the things that we need for public safety. It's been too long, and we tried to keep this neutral. You know, for the most part, we're going to come out later on with more of the facts about what's been going on. The attempts that we've tried to make to work with the current administration, who's been working with us, who's been reaching out to ask questions and see how they can help. And we're looking for change. And so we're most definitely going to be a part of that. Anything you want to say? President Murray, I want to have you come up. So No. So, President Murray he's the president for PFFUI, the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana.
For the entire state.
For the whole state. He's newly elected. He came up in 2019 to help us put together our first candidate night that we did together. And he's been an advocate of everything that's going on here in Gary, Indiana since then. I don't know how he's that involved with us, in control of the entire state. But I mean, he's very responsive. Yeah, he said we're important. But that's what we care about. You know, he's representing as a great leader, and I'm trying to follow his lead and what he does, and he's committed to the city of Gary, trying to help out, trying to make sure that we are making sensible requests from the city, reasonable requests, and not overstepping our boundaries on what we're doing. So, did you want to say anything?
Sure, I'll say it. Well, so thank you, and this is great, and I am glad to be back 4 years later. You got a bigger room, and then you got a bigger crowd this year. So congratulations to everybody here coming out and being engaged in this community. The firefighters in Local 359, they understand that elected and appointed decision makers affect the community, their ability to serve, and what type of service they can provide to this community. And it's refreshing to see when the community comes out to learn about who could be elected to make those decisions. So I'm real proud to be here. I'm real proud to be a part of this. And part of, you talk about special interest. You know, the fire service and the services that the police department provide and EMS in a community, it's the members, it's the people that are the fabric of this community. And, you know, they're the coaches, they're the people that are engaging. You heard some stories about that today. So for the special interest is this community. And I just want to applaud the firefighters for being involved in the political process because it's so important. So thank you all for being here, and thanks for the nice words you said. But thanks for putting this on.
So now that that's over with, you're free to mingle. We're going to go ahead and take all of the information that we heard here. We're going to take historical data that we know about you from investigating and figuring out what you've done in the past and what you participated in community effort-wise, your questionnaire, and we're going to get back to you on the endorsement. You will know by March 1st if we choose to endorse you, and that's it. If you have any additional questions or any questions for the Local 359, reach out anytime to me, President Tillman, or Benford, Vice President Benford. Thank you.